Hi everyone, my name is Eric Schurter, and I'm the product manager for the editor group, which is part of the create stage of the DevOps lifecycle here at GitLab. And I'm excited to share with you a little bit about what we have planned for the 14.3 milestone. As usual, I'll link to our planning issue in the video description so that you can click through to our release board and see all the issues we have planned for the milestone. But I'll highlight a couple specific issues and high-level themes for you here today. Now in 14.3, 14.4, and probably into the 14.5 milestone, you'll see that we're shifting our focus a little bit to improve the overall reliability and performance of our core categories. And so rather than focus on individual specific new features, I want to highlight a couple of the things we're doing on the back end that will serve that goal. So starting with the web IDE, we've been wanting to take a fresh look at our overall state management. There's several issues on our backlog related to the status of a file on the back end falling out of sync with the web IDE front end. And so we want to take a fresh look and refactor that state management so that we can hopefully provide a much more resilient, predictable, and reliable web IDE experience. This will also set us up for some further performance improvements on the back end in subsequent milestones. Shifting gears to the wiki. One of the things we want to do for as far as reliability and predictability is clean up some work that we didn't get to when we introduced the group wiki feature several milestones ago. But the first is to add the ability to toggle off that group wiki at the settings level. So expect that in 14.3. And then as we look at overall reliability of the wiki, we have a few opportunities to explore, and we'll be doing some technical planning and initial work there in 14.3. The first is to remove our dependency on a backend service that we have dedicated to the wiki and convert all of that functionality over to native Gitly RPCs. And so this will help us in a number of ways. It's going to make it a lot more maintainable because we will be able to move away from a third-party service. But it's also going to have performance improvements and help just our general ability to develop features on the wiki in the future. So this again won't have any real impact to the feature set directly, but hopefully improve the performance and reliability of the wiki. Another part of the wiki performance is how it handles loading very large Markdown files. And so by that I mean like files that have 20,000 lines of Markdown, things like that, where they exceed a reasonable amount of a reasonable size, but take a large amount of memory and a large amount of time to render. So we're going to take a cue from the repository view and offer some options on the front end, on the view of the page to handle those large files in ways that might be a little more performant, like the ability to view the raw source or clone the repository and view it locally rather than depend on our backend service to render it immediately on every page load. And the last thing I want to highlight with the wiki is a parallel track that we're focused on, and I've talked about this a lot in previous Kickoff videos, but in 14.0 we introduced the content editor, which is our WYSIWYG Markdown editor in the wiki. And so we're continuing to mature that by providing support for all of the GitLab flavored Markdown extensions in the content editor. And right now what we want to do is make sure that any page in the wiki that has existing GitLab flavored Markdown content can be loaded in the content editor without corrupting the data or removing the intent of the data. So what you'll find is that if the content editor doesn't understand something like a table of contents link, for example, it'll actually just try and parse it as plain text. And so when you save that page back out, it'll have created a paragraph out of something that you intended to be a table of contents. So for everything like that in GitLab flavored Markdown, we need to just build little extensions so that we know how to render and we can interpret that content correctly and prevent any data loss or data corruption. And we're plugging away at that. Our goal is in the next couple milestones to have a full coverage of the GitLab flavored Markdown spec. So in 14.3, we'll be working on things like table of contents, audio and video content, and things like that. And We'll have more in 14.3 and 14.4. We also have a really great new developer tutorial for providing extensions to the content editor. So if you're interested in contributing to these extensions, please follow through here in the issues, and you'll see a link to the tutorial, and you can help out. That's all I wanted to highlight for today, and I appreciate your time. I'll see you next month. Thanks a lot.